take all the paper that I have on witnesses, statements, depositions, police statements, whatever, and I make an outline and, with topics and just add in little quotes or whatever and put the things after them so that, and that's something I do when I'm reviewing everything. And so then when it comes time to cross or whatever, just pull it right off of there. But I think you can also do that. There's a different way to kind of do that in Adobe too. This is what I mean. There's the little dress and sticky. But the cool thing about using Adobe Acrobat is that you can make your notes right on the document, but still print the document without those showing, or print it with them showing. You can make any document searchable as long as it's in some typewritten form. So single documents that you could be, if it's a big 100-page deposition and you are looking for something that particular witness, or you can search every document within the file on that piece of document. Search for words, strings of words, copy and paste. So, and in the end, I'll tell you how you get everything into Adobe. But this is just a, yes. I have to talk louder. Yeah. I have to act like I'm yelling at my one pupil.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So demanding. So you can make notes right in the document. So as you're going along and you're reading like this autopsy report, if there's something in there that I want to highlight, I can highlight it and it automatically will put it in this little highlight box for me, which is kind of cool. And that's just this little highlighting tool right there. If I want to, I can close that and just have the highlighted stuff there. I think this is the coolest part. I can then add notes to the highlighted box. So if this is what's important and I want to remember, ask that pathologist if he has an opinion about this, I just type that in there. And now that's associated with the file. If I don't want to highlight, there's a rectangle tool. I can do that and it puts everything in a box. Just a plain note tool, I don't care particularly what it says, but I just want to make a note, I can do that. And then the coolest part is down here, this comments tab. So if this is the entire file, and I've used all of those various ways of marking up the document, I can click on comments, and down here it'll give me a whole list of all the comments within the entire file. So if you wanted to equate that with using sticky notes like on a deposition, that would be the part where all the sticky notes are hanging out the side of the deposition. And then I can also use the reply button within the comments section. So if there's something I said, do some research on this, I can actually do the research, hit reply, and type in down here what my research showed. And then the other thing is I can then make all of these comments a separate and distinct file from the original PDF file. My reminder to back up, my reminder to hit save, because that's the one thing, the difference between paper and computer. If you lose it, you lose it. Well, I suppose you can lose your paper too. And this is just showing how you would print your comments. If you look, I think when we went back here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a print comments, and then here it says summarize comments. We open that, we get this page. We can print comments only, include all the comments, and it ends up coming out like this. One of the bad things I don't like about sending it directly to PDF is it does page by page, which I think is makes it as big of a document almost as your original document was. I like to use the Save As tool. Change the PDF. Oh yeah, because then I can change the. I know why I did that. When you do that Save As tool, if you go down to the rich text format, you're changing the PDF back to like a word processing program. It'll automatically take out all those page breaks. That's why I put that in there. The really cool thing is now I've got all these documents in there, and I can cut and paste directly from the PDF file. So, first off, I can search. Let's talk about searching. I can search one document. You just hit the search tool. It'll pop up a thing, and I can type in a word right here, or a name, or a string of words, and ask it to search. I can do a basic search, which is within the document itself, or I can do an advanced search, which will like search an entire catalog and create this index, which is also what I'm talking about is the catalog. Hit create new, and you just start adding the directories or the folders that you want to include. So I'll show you here after we get through these slides. I'll show you how I've got some of my bigger cases over there. You just click add and start adding those directories. Takes you right through there. And I have this on, you have a zip drive. If you want to give me your email, I can email you this entire file. But when I first put this slideshow together, my thought was to have something that somebody could take home, and if they got the program, they could use it as kind of a guide. And you just build the index, and click, you name it, and save it. And it builds. Sometimes it takes a little while, depends on how much stuff you're going to put in your index. So now I've got this big index. I'm looking for a witness named Alexander in, this is a transcript of some prior testimony. And I put in Alexander and I hit search and it gives me, it's on page 109. I click on that and it will take me automatically to the page with that highlighted. So if I'm searching a bunch of documents, or if I'm searching a folder of documents, it'll give me the name of every document. This is actually a trial transcript. This guy was tried twice. I'm getting ready to do the second trial. This is the transcript from the first trial. And so it's now giving me, I think I'm searching for schizophrenia this time. It's giving me every file in which schizophrenia is mentioned. I click on the file, and it'll give me all the different places, and I can click and just go through the whole document that way. Now say I'm doing my motion for funds or whatever, I can actually highlight it, copy it, click paste in whatever word processing program I am, and it's right there. You can also make sure that you can, either you have to go and look at the page number, which is up here, or you can actually change the page numbers of this document to match the page numbers of the paper document. So then the big question is, how do you get documents in Adobe PDF files? Your cops probably aren't going to give you discovery in PDF, although I think now in federal court they really are. They're giving almost all that stuff. They're giving discs now instead of paper. If it's transcripts, you can get it from the court reporter in PDF. That would be my first preference. Sometimes they'll give it to you in WordPerfect or Word or text or RTF. Or my second favorite way is to scan it. Doing it with having to convert it myself is my least favorite. And I'll tell you in a second. Directly from the court reporter, they're just giving me discs now. That may be because all the court reporters I work with know me and know I'm a geek, but they'll give it to me on disc. In that particular case, they gave it to me in WordPerfect. And so I had to open it in WordPerfect and publish it to PDF, which is kind of nice because when you do that, it makes the document automatically searchable. You don't have to do anything else to it to set up the search. And converting from WordPerfect or any word processing document to PDF is a small file size in relation to when you scan. When you scan, the files get bigger. The biggest problem that I see with WordPerfect and Word is that both of those programs, the default is that they will, when they open a file, they convert it to your printer. And so unless the court reporter who typed it did hard page returns or something of that nature, your page and line numbers may not fit, and then you got to go back and screw around with that, which is a pain in the ass. You can usually, though, prevent the problem by going to settings. This is in WordPerfect, and just click on the Do Not Reformat Your Documents. Hit Publish to PDF and name it, and there it is. Word has one also. I'm not as familiar with Word. I don't use it as often because I don't like that you can't reveal codes thing. But I'm sure that they probably have some function placed in there where you can make it not reforming. I'm the queen of scanners. Self-feeding is the only way to go. I mean, that would defeat the purpose to do it. I used to do it with the flatbed when I first started. I think I've got a scanner. I paid about a little less than $500 for it. It's self-feeding. It'll do 50 pages at a time, front and back, without any flipping the pages over. It automatically reads it. And it came with the full version of Adobe Acrobat, which is great because Adobe Acrobat as a standalone, I think, is about $500. So, and in my office, once I started scanning documents and stuff, then I started finding all sorts of things to scan. You know, for private practitioners, all my receipts, we don't keep any paper. And I started using just high school kids after school, so I didn't have to do it. Used to do it when I did the flatbed scanner. I did it, and I would say, well, this is okay because I'm reading each page as I'm putting it on the scanner. But it is a lot easier to get somebody else to scan it, and then if you're on the road or whatever, you can, read it on your laptop as you go. This is an example of a scanner that's $495, 50-page automatic document feeder, and it comes bundled with Adobe Acrobat for it. I just took this off the internet last night, so they're still pretty cheap. Once you scan, you have to do what's called paper capture or OCR text recognition. The best thing about Adobe Acrobat is that although it's doing that OCR text recognition, it never changes the appearance of the document. You know, the first OCR sheet, you would run it through there and it would come out gobbledygook, and you would spend twice as much time cleaning it up so you could really, read it as you would do anything, so it was really worthless. But with Adobe, it does not change the way the document looks. The only caveat to that is if you have an older computer, it takes a while. You know, if I'm going to run and have it run that paper capture on 250-page volume of a transcript from a prior trial, it goes slow. I think, what did I say? About 10 to 15 minutes for 250 pages. So it's not something you want to do in a hurry. And RAM helps. When it finishes, you just hit save. You do it one time and it's done. The document's then saved that way, and you can search it from there on out. That's what I have about Adobe. Let me show you some other stuff. First off, just generally, I've got this little hard drive here. I was telling you that I take all my files with me everywhere I go. It's a lacy hard drive. As you can see, it's about a 40-gigabyte drive. It has every capital client that I've got right now. And I'm sure if you're not doing it this way on computer, you're probably doing it this way in files. And you have files for all sorts of things. This is the best part for going on the road too, because this is every pleading in my case in an Adobe format, so it looks exactly, in PDF, it's exactly what it looks like in my court file. So that's a nice deal. And I've got in Adobe setup, I'm going to show you some case map software, which is now owned by LexisNexis, but I never ever give up the Adobe way of doing things. So these are all my documents that are in this case map program, but I still have this in an index, and so if I'm searching for a name or something like that, I can search every piece of paper that I've been given in Discovery or that I have associated with the case. And I think this file right now, this is, that's 1,043 documents, not pages. Documents. So that's a pretty nice thing to have. Oh, let's look at this case map deal. It's kind of cool. First off, it works with Adobe, so everything can be in PDF file. It likes for you to organize, it likes you to scan every page in, and every page or thing is an object. And it may or may, like for instance, here's persons. These persons may or may not have a document initially associated with them. But in this case, I wonder if it'll tell me how many I have.
So you just index it when you scan it?
Yep, it's very cool. Let me, here, I know what we'll do. I've got I'm still working on this case. This is a capital case that's ongoing right now. This guy's name is Desmond Turner. He's from, it's an Indianapolis case. He is charged with having gone into this house with another man and in execution style killed an entire family of Hispanic people, maybe over drugs, maybe over, I don't know. We don't know yet. So for instance, let's open this document. This is not in my file yet or in my case map. This is actually a deposition that I took of a police officer named Michael Beatty. So the first thing I want to do, if I'm going to put that in my case map automatically dovetails with Adobe Acrobat. So if I click the Acrobat signal and I say I want to add an object, it is a document. I can name it I can't remember his name. Michael Beatty. That's just my personal code. Michael Beatty Depot. Save and edit. I don't really like to do it that way. I do want to look at it this way though. There's Michael Beatty's Depot. Now I can open that and I can add all kinds of information to it. I think of the author as all the people that are talking in it myself, Michael Beatty and me and the other lawyer who I don't really need to put our names in there. I think this deposition was taken on February 22nd, 2007, 2/22, 2007. Description. This is an interesting thing right there where it's opening up those names. I'll explain that to you in a second, but it's if you, when I put the person's name in there, it'll automatically give them, the way you're seeing, full name, Michael Beatty, object type person, it automatically gives them an abbreviation, which later is going to let me search through the thousands of documents and pull any document, any fact, mainly facts and documents that mentions this person. So I'm going to say it's his deposition. Type, I keep track of deposition, so because I'm putting that in there, if at any time I wanted to pull every deposition in the case, there's a way to do that. So here now, this is all my documents in my case. If I were scrolling down this list and I wanted to see Michael Beatty's deposition, I can click that link and it's going to open up. Now, as I'm reading this deposition, going through here, I can do exactly the same thing that I was showing you in the Adobe. I don't know if this document, we're going to find out here in a second if this document has been paper captured yet. Say for some reason, he's with the Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. I've just done that. It's already made my highlight thing, but here's the really cool thing. Now I say, make that a fact in case map, and it's automatically going to take it there. Let's say the date's not important about that for whatever reason. Beatty M works for IPD, which is a police department. Okay, yes, I want to go to the fact. Now here's the cool thing. So if this fact is important to me, I can now click on that and it's going to take me right back to the Adobe document and where I found it. So So you can go through the whole document reading that way. You can do dates, you can do whatever. The search capabilities in CaseMap are really cool too. Say that I'm just at the top here and I want to find, my client's name is, well, no, let's look for, there's a detective in this case named Wager. I'm going to search in the fact text, find first. Okay, here's his name, Wager. If I highlight that name and I click this filter by selection tool, now all I have is every fact that has his name in it. And I can send that to a report if I want to, and actually print out a document that I can give to investigators or somebody else, or if I need to use that when I'm preparing for his deposition. And the best part is those are all linked. So well, there's the source of that information. This is his depo. So it's a nice program for letting you have pretty quick access to facts. It's also nice for evidence. I've gone through here, and these are, I'll show you where I've gotten, it's not what I like to show you. I mean, it's not, they're horrible. God, it's horrible being here. Anyway, what I did is I went through the documents. I came across certain documents that have all of the item numbers of all the pieces of evidence that have been picked up. And so this gives me a way to, here's the item number that's assigned by the police. Here's the description that they've given it. It's got a short name, so if I'm talking about this item number in some other report, as long as I put that short name in there, it's going to link it to that, this particular database file, I guess, if you will. I've messed something up in here, I'm sorry. This document right there that's highlighted to open. Open new file. No, that's still not right. So now I've named something the wrong name. It's coming up every time. The nice thing about this is then is, you know, I'm originally getting a list, which I can, you know, do the same thing that we had here a minute ago. I can print a report of all those items if I need that for some particular reason. I can add information. So, you know, this is a particular fingerprint thing. I could then, even in this description, or I can link other files. So if there's another file later, another document later that says they tested these prints and they connected to so-and-so, I can attach that particular piece of paper that's associated with this item number. You know, this description box is pretty much unlimited. So if there is another piece of paper, I can use its short name in there and come up with it that way too. It's nice for places. You know how a lot of times in like this big case, there's a bunch of places that they searched. There's various places that the witnesses all went together. Because I've given these addresses, let's see if I can expand my view now. 560 North Hamilton is the address where this crime occurred. I had any related files, I could put them there. I can also, there's also ways to, that's the wrong house, that's why it's not showing, sorry. I can also go back over to the first page with the facts or the documents, and I can search for 560 in the name, I can search for it in the description, and find 560. There's 560 North Hamilton. Now I've got a list of everything that has to do, pieces of paper that deal with 560 North Hamilton. So I've just started working with this program in the last year. And I like it. I mean, it's got its pluses and its minuses. I think it was designed primarily for civil lawyers that are doing big civil cases. But I think it's working pretty good for me. You can also identify issues in the case. What I've done primarily with this case is these issues are each of the charges off of the information, which are pretty big. I've also made an issue out of the aggravating circumstances listed in the request for the death sentence, possible mitigation. You see here so far, and I'm not done putting in all the information, I've got 10 facts that from the paper I have, I've determined may be possible mitigation information that maybe I want to follow up on, and I can print that to a report. And I can do that by time. Those are so many. You know, this is in timeline fashion. So this is something I could give to the mitigation investigator. I could give it to my secretary and tell her to pull all of the documents and, you know, make copies of them for the mitigation investigator. So primarily the strong point of this software is just linking everything and then going back and searching for it. Has a research area too, which is kind of nice. So far, all I've got in is the death penalty statute, which I don't have linked correctly. But as I add cases, if I'm doing research on particular issues, I can put in extract. I can actually like brief my cases right in this program, which is cool. As long as my cases or my statutes are in a PDF file, I can I got this done for another. Let me open a different file and show you, because I've done a lot of research on this other case. I think, let's see. This is a trial I just finished. We'll see if this. Yeah. So this has a lot of cases that I've dealt with, and then there are extracts from it, which is pretty nice. This Alabama versus Wiley case. There's the actual quote. Tells me what it deals with. Lets me put some information about it. You know, you can print reports off of this too, which is kind of nice if you're getting ready to do an argument. You can also do it this way. So this is the case, Alabama versus Willie Clisby, and this is all of my extracts or things that essentially the things that I've highlighted in the file. And that I could print to a report too if I wanted. If I wanted to carry it with me into court, I suppose. So, you know, there at the top I've got all the information about the case, and these are all the quotes, and over here in the description area are my notes about that. So I think that, you know, this is some nice software. This runs about, it's done on a lease program rather than a buy program. It's leased from LexisNexis. The lease costs, it depends on how many computers you have on it, but the lease costs somewhere between $600 and $800 for a year. During that year's time, and you sign up for a 2 or 3 year contract. And during that time frame, you would get all upgrades. You get your own personal trainer, for the software. You get your own personal IT person that you can call if you ever have any questions about the software too. So I'm kind of enamored with CaseMap and LexisNexis right now. There's also a lot of programs that go with LexisNexis CaseMap if you want to expand. One of them is a timeline software. Let me see if I can find it. This screen is making me smaller than I would usually do. But anyway, I'm not going to be able to get it on this screen because the way it's converting my guide over there. But I can actually highlight facts. Say in this case I wanted all the facts that had to do with this Dr. Cunningham for some particular reason. There's 3 I can actually, I believe, send those to, maybe this one, send a time map. And it'll automatically do, if you wanted to use those in some sort of presentation to record, or if you just want to use it to look at it. You can also make timelines directly within there, but it's really nice to just automatically send them. And then you can see right down there at the bottom is the source for that fact. So this part is very, in my mind, designed for civil lawyers. It has its uses, but not quite as defense lawyer friendly as some of the other stuff is. So that's all I know. That's about it. I like to have, literally I have every, right now as I sit here on this laptop or on this little drive right here, there I've got an F and I've got another one that's about the same size. This has all of my capital clients. All of these are about as big as Mr. Turner, so that holds quite a bit of documents. I've got all of my teaching stuff on here. And I mean, they're not any bigger than, I don't know, what is that, a 3x5 card. And I just take those with me everywhere I go. And then I use some free software called Always Sync that allows me to keep that backup of these little hard drives synced with my desktop. And that software was free. So when I go on the road, I got everything with me. Thank you for playing.
I've got a question. The PDF files, when you're using Adobe, ultimately, when you scan something in, or you change the format from a Word document, and you have it in Adobe, and you highlight it, and cut and paste it back onto a Word document, you can then manipulate it again, or is it?
Like in the WordPerfect document? Yeah.
Because I saw you, I didn't know you could manipulate it after you cut and paste something from Adobe onto a Word document.
Well, let me get this open and I'll show you real quick. The only real downside is that sometimes the formatting, when you go from Adobe and you paste it to Word or WordPerfect, you're going to have to take out some returns and various things like that. What is going on? It never fails. Just when you want to show how cool your computer really is.
So what are you using 2000?
Is the XP. Yeah. I have it from the spouse of a Microsoft employee who is here, that you do not want to update to Vista.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. It's so hard to find computers without it on.
Yeah, I would guess right now as you're buying, it's a real pain in the ass.
Yeah. I bought a laptop when I was in law school in 2002. That's still the only one I have.
Yeah.
So, I wish I had bought one like a year ago.
Let's see, hold on just a minute. I want to show you this. If the computer will stop being here. This always happens because I get impatient when I'm doing this, so I'm pushing too many buttons too fast. Because this computer, I think I paid, this laptop, I think I paid about $1,500 for it. And it's just run-of-the-mill. It was not the top of the line at the time I bought it. It was kind of in the middle, but where I spent the money was on the RAM and the hard drive, the size of the hard drive. So, yeah, it's having a real mental breakdown now, but we've got a cure for that called.
And what, this is your
Yeah,
extra?
yeah,
How
yeah.
much, that cost?
That I bought, I've had it for a while, and I think I paid about $100 for it. I'm gonna guess that you can probably get them cheaper now.
It's a nice size.
Yeah, and that's 40 gig. They've got them this size now in 80 and 120, so.
Yeah, I've got one of those little thumb ones. Like I said, it's about a gig,
Yeah.
and that's a nice size.
You know, that's certainly big enough to carry most any file with you.
Yeah. Keep it, you know. I can have it actually with me. I travel around with it. I have all my running sheets, so if I want to, you know, I could open up my case and find out what date I did whatever, but it'd be nice to.
The only downside I've ever found to, like if you're going to carry your thumb drive and not carry your computer, is that you may or may not, wherever you're going, have the software that you need
Right.
to open the files that are on your computer. Although I've just seen recently, and this may be a plus on Vista, that they have a way now for you to pack your files that have like a miniature version of the software, which will at least let you open your files, which is kind of a cool idea. But you know, I'm just so in love with this computer that, you know, freezes up on me when I'm doing demonstrations, but I would just hate to travel without it, so there we go.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We get grand jury transcripts. We don't have depots in
Yeah.
Mass, but some of my grand jury
Transcript, I mean, they get pretty
are
long, yeah.
voluminous. And like another thing is motion to suppress. You know, you have a 2-day motion to suppress, and I'll get.
Yeah, and for you, you're probably not getting depositions where you
No.
are? Yeah, so that is your version of a deposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the we'll have dangerousness hearings. We'll get crack at witnesses, and ultimately,
Yeah.
what we've been doing is getting, you know, tapes.
Okay. So I'm on the 2-year program. I think that I'm entitled to a new computer every 2 years. And I bought this laptop 2 years ago. I sat in the back row and ordered it, back row here in this building, in this auditorium 2 years ago and ordered it. So it's clearly time. We're having lockups and other dysfunctions that make me think I'm entitled to a new computer. These here, this Harrison T, Harner E, I'm doing a little PD job for a local judge, and I'm taking, well, okay, I'm doing something really stupid. I'm taking all of his cases from Superior Court. It's a small county for the entire month. So that's everything from C misdemeanors to, you know, he doesn't do A felonies, all the way to B felonies. So that would be in Indiana, you know, trafficking, dealing, primarily stuff like that. Oh, wake up, little computer. And so these are actually the files that have come in, God help me, while I've been here, that my secretary has scanned and emailed to me, so that I could look through them and see, you know, if it's a misdemeanor, is this guy in custody, and how can I get him out of custody while I'm here and they're back in Davies County, Indiana. Okay, all right, here we go, waking up. Actually, this is one of those. Let me see if I can turn off the toolbars so we can see more. Yep. This is one of the files that's come in since I've been gone. There's actually what we would call the chronological case summary. So just let's for a minute, and I will tell you that I am so spoiled. In my home office, I have my home office. In my office, I have dual screens, so that I can actually open have open on one screen my word processing program, and have open on a different screen. This is really quite annoying when I can't get to where I'd like to go because of the way the screen is set up. Does that work perfect?
Yeah, actually,
Let's just do this.
this week, while I'm gone, my home office is getting new computers.
Oh, wow.
So when I return, it'll be a new adventure.
So the dual screen actually works just like if you were to tile two things vertically, I can actually cut and paste between. I just want to make it big. Zoom to. Well, that's a little bit too big. But say I wanted to. Now I do need my toolbars back with me. I'm going to remove this blue because this is driving me nuts that everything is so small. Say there's what I'm looking for. I could highlight that word confirmed, edit, copy, come over here to Word, paste, because it's so small you can't see it. 50%. Confirm. So you can do that with entire quotes. If I then wanted to change, I can do whatever I need to do to it. You can, the other thing I like about PBS, and I've done this in a motion not long ago, I had photos that the state was intending to use in its opening statement to jury. And it was a really bloody, nasty, gory photo. And I just inserted it right into my pleading, filed it with the Indiana Supreme Court, so they got to see the poor child's intestines hanging out too, just like they were going to show the jury. And I don't know if I didn't, before I had PDF, and maybe I'm too detail oriented, I don't know that I ever would have thought to do that. But when you got them all there and you got them all in a digital format, you start thinking about all the things that you can insert and cut and paste. But, and it makes it really nice from something that you're not having to worry about, but from a storage perspective, I'm not keeping my hard files forever like I used to. I have another, well, the way we have the network set up in my office is all of the current open files are on my hard drive, and I have a digital file for every client I've ever represented, literally in 19 years. And it's all on my secretary's file computer. And then we've got a network drive that we back those two things up to. So it makes it really nice when somebody calls and wants a piece of paper from their case. Now the big issue is, I guess if I was going to go totally digital, I would have one of those laptops that has the note-taking tool, because right now, once I close a file, I have to rely upon my secretary to, when she closes it out, to scan all the handwritten notes. And who knows? I'm on the 2-year thing now. Maybe it's time for the
New,
laptop
those
that
tablets.
lets me take handwritten notes.
Yeah, we, in our office, for the past 6 months, whenever a case is closed out, it's been scanned.
Oh, yeah.
So, for all the new ones, and for in the future, that's the procedure that they're doing.
When they close them?
When we're closing, yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as I close out a case,
Yeah.
I give it to the secretary, she ultimately closes it out in the computer, scans it, and then they
Mhm.
data save it. And they're pulling all the old ones and scanning all the old ones, which is
Okay.
pretty big
Yeah.
project.
It's a huge project. The way we do it in my office is every piece of paper that comes in the door gets scanned. So before I see my mail, the secretary opens it and scans it all. Discovery comes in, or if I go to court and I pick up pleadings, our office procedure is that it goes on her desk and she scans it. We don't even have a copy machine in my office.
Wow.
Because everything is scanned, we just print it. And we just print it off the printer. Now, whether or not that's financially responsible or irresponsible, I don't know. But when it's just me by myself, and when I was trying to figure out how to spend money, I decided I'd rather spend money on a $500 scanner than I would a $500 copy
Save
machine.
thousands of dollars. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And it's really nice for emailing. So what my secretary does is when I give her pleadings that she's going to mail to some court, she scans them, prints them, and then she also just automatically emails. If we've got a email address, she emails it to the prosecutor, to the client, to anybody that's concerned, co-counsel, and then when it comes back in as a file stamped copy, she just does the first page, substitutes the first page with the file stamp on it and sends them out again. So it's saving us on postage too.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty nice. And this Adobe version, this is actually, I think, one more recent than the one that was in that slideshow. I don't really want to save that, and why I can't hit the right button, I don't know. Save me. Okay. This actually has a function for me, as long as I've got, I can attach it to an email. It will go to, if it's anybody else that has the full Adobe version, they can mark up and do their notes on there too. When we were looking at, let's just do, let's use that highlight tool. If we were doing this, and you see how it has my name? Now, if I send this to my co-counsel, and he goes through and he highlights something else, his are going to have his name. And then when I get down here to the comments section, where is that thing? Show notification thing? Yeah. When I get down, that's not the way I want to look at it. Where's the question? Where's my comments?
I saw it when you,
I know, I had it a minute ago, now I can't find it.
it was right under bookmarks.
There we go. No, that's actually attached files to it. But anyway, when I print that file, like I was showing you with all the notes, it would have mine and his, and it would have initials by him, so you would know whose or whose. I've been after Ernie to get Adobe Acrobat for his office for a long time, but they just, it hasn't been in the budget yet, has it?
We don't get any technology budget. The only way we get to buy stuff is if people we have vacant positions.
Yeah.
Is that insidious or what?
Yeah, so somehow, I was just in Jeff's group and we were talking about, Jung's theories and all of that, and we've identified me, Jeff, and you. And you are like the big picture, visionary kind of guy, and the visionary, you would like to have all of this, but because of the way you think you're very good at going, but the most important of that, what I need is lawyers. And they're not letting me do the whole vision and stuff. But anyway, in me, I'm very detailed, concrete, gotta close my eyes when I think gal, and all I can think of is organize those details. Organize those details. So the computer thing appeals to me a lot.
Was that more useful to you in post-conviction, or is it more
When
useful
I
to you
first
in
started
trials?
doing it, I was doing it because of appeals. But the first thing that got me thinking about, you mean to organizing and using the computer, was trial records in cases where because you have video, I don't. Mine are all paper words. I have trial records that are 3,000, 4,000 pages long. You've got 60 days to read it and maybe 30 days to write a brief. And so what do you do and how do you do those notes and organize those notes? And then as I started doing more and more trial work, I started thinking, well, I really need to apply this to all of those police reports and stuff because I'd like to find those things quickly too. It's also come in really handy in oral argument, just because of the organization and being able to search. So I've made my argument, I sit down and state gets up and makes their argument, and they, the court asks them some question, and they say, well, I don't know where it's in the record, but it's in the record, or they misstate some fact, literally by the time myself or my co-counsel gets back up to make a statement, I'm giving the page and line number of where they can find exactly.
And it wasn't in the brief. I mean, so you're sitting there with your computer at table, finding that and getting up and slam dunking
Right.
the AG. That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. And I remember the first time I went in and I asked the Supreme Court administrator, I said, will it be distracting to the judges if I have my laptop there? And at first he was like, what do you mean? You're going to take it up there to the podium? I'm like, no, I don't want it at the podium, I just want it at the table. He's like, well, if you need it, you know, what do you think you're going to do with it? And I think I did the opening argument, and for some reason we split it, and co-counsel did the rebuttal. And so literally by the time he stood up, I had 5 sites for him. And he stood up and did it, and you could see all of them. And so since I've had calls from the administrator's office asking him, Justice so-and-so would like to know. Because I mean, if it works for me, imagine how great it would be for them. Yeah, but I don't want them doing that to me very long. So, you know, it's nice during trial. I can always see the forest through the trees. Well, thanks for playing.
I would have been
And I would always say,
I know.
what the hell
See
happened?
that? 1-on-1 student-teacher ratio.
It's worth about $1,000.
I know.
And then,
2 hours.
and I'm like, okay, now you see it coming on the phone.
How do you? Stop. Stop recording.
I know we have to get together. And I'm leaving. Oh, are you? Yeah.